Hey, good evening, everyone. We're here for the Rutherford County Citizens Stormwater Advisory Committee. Call the meeting to order. Stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll have the roll call, please.
All right. Delia Goodman,
Here.
Diana Patterson,
Here.
Josh Upham,
Here.
Mark Lee,
Here.
Jennifer Watson,
Here.
Bonnie Irvin, Marvin Whitworth,
Here.
and Mike Cush.
Present.
I would say we have a quorum. So the quorum is established. Approval of the September 10th, 2024 minutes. Have you all read those minutes? Do I hear a motion to approve?
I've read the minutes and I make a motion to approve.
All right,
I second.
okay, all right. We have a motion to approve that's been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved as they were mailed to us. Open the floor for public comments.
No one submitted any public comments to our department, so we don't have any at this time.
Okay, so we'll close the floor. This is election of officers.
Okay, I'm going to do that. So let's see. I will take nominations for chair. Delia is our current chair, and this is a one-year appointment, and I'll need a nomination and then a second.
I nominate Ms. Goodman again.
I'll second that.
Ms. Delia, do you accept the nomination?
I accept, thank you.
Okay. I guess we can just vote by yay. So all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, so unanimous.
Take you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Oops. Okay, now I need to take nominations for vice chair. So I'll need a first and I'll need a second for that. Currently, Marvin, you're our chair? You're our vice chair, right? Okay, Marvin is our current vice chair. He would prefer not to do it anymore. So is there any other nominations for vice chair?
Make a motion to nominate Mark Lee as vice chair.
I second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Vote unanimously passes. So Mark Lee, you will be our new vice chair. And that's that.
That concludes the election of
that.
officers. All right, thank you. Okay, we'll open the floor now for the public hearing for MS4 annual report.
And this one's for if anyone in the audience would like to discuss anything about the annual report that's been at our office, online, and public noticed in the paper. I don't see any at this point, Ms. Delia.
Having no comments, we close the meeting for the public. All right. Sheila, if you'll give us an update on, please, on the stormwater activities.
Oh, I did have the minutes. Okay. Jonathan is actually going to be doing our update this time. So Jonathan is our stormwater coordinator, and we just thought we'd try to tag team this year and get him a little more familiar with it until I just dumped it all on him. So he's going to be here to go over all the fun stuff we've done throughout the year. I have the annual report here brought up, so I'll have it on the screen. You guys can kind of look as we go through.
All right, sounds good. So we'll start off with our public education here. We did 15 activities this year, and we did 5 with our engineering and development community. Some of those public events that we did were Boat Day, Earth Day. We went to 2 farmers markets, the Lawn and Garden Expo, Urban Runoff Waterfest, and several other Project Wet activities. Heather is our Project Wet coordinator, and she's been doing a tremendous job going into our schools and doing just more activities than we can really know what to do with, but it's good to get that engagement with our students. Our socials as well, we have been working on getting more posts out more frequently and targeting more of all of our permit measures. So we're looking forward to getting them out on a more scheduled basis. We have had 24 pre-construction meetings this year for our education with our developers and engineering community. Oh, let me move back to the public events. We also have the hazardous household waste event through our solid waste department. Then we also have the litter cleanup grant through the Rutherford County Correctional Workhouse. Like I said, 24 pre-construction meetings with the developers and engineering community. We had small lot EPSC education to some of our local or any other builders in the area. And we had our stormwater education to the Planning Commission as well. We had 65 active construction sites.
Let me catch up.
And then we did this year get through all of our municipal operations and facilities. All were inspected. Let's see, any other items? I would like to mention about our summer internship program. Every year we hire 4 summer interns, and they help us do a lot of our pond inspections, and they're the ones who also complete our municipal operations facilities, doing parking lot inspections, community center inspections, and they do tremendous work doing stream assessments as well. This year, also the Stormwater Department had conducted some dye tracing out in the Harpeth River, Eagleville area watershed, and also for the Compton Spring Basin as well. We are currently working on getting a public map made for that, so that way you can see where all the positive traces were.
We just thought of that. We should have brought a visual so you guys could see where we put the dye in and where we took it out. But we'll bring that for next year's meeting.
Yeah.
And kind of give you a summary of that.
Can I have a question?
Sure, yeah.
What was the purpose of that dye trace?
Mainly to understand the flow of the groundwater. So if any developments do come in that area, we can both understand that spring basin on a flooding standpoint and also these sinkholes as well, but then also for contamination. If there happen to be any spills to get into the groundwater system, we then know where it would come out from and be able to remedy it from there.
So you can kind of give them a general idea of where that was. Oh, yeah. Like, we were kind of in Harpeth area, out near, where'd you put in?
So we did out towards Eagleville along State Highway 99. The Harpeth head of the river spring is what it's labeled on maps for the Harpeth River, and we did about 4 or 5 successful dye traces that were within 1 to 4 miles of straight line distance of that spring. We did have one come back that was not a positive trace, but 4 of them did come back as positive. And then the other one was the Compton Spring Basin, and that was near the intersection of State Highway 96 and Compton Road, just there to the east. And we had 2 successful traces to that, along with one that was not.
Did Mr. Ogden do those?
Yes, yeah, I was helping him on that.
Yeah. We get a better rate if Jonathan goes out and helps him. So he's always going out and helping Dr. Ogden on these traces. So it works out pretty good. And then we get a lot more research and data for our program. And we can build on the map that the city already had. So we already have all the data points from that. So we're going to be building the map and creating more dye traces as we do more projects and more dye traces coming in.
Yeah, and we have those data points updated already. We just have to get it pushed out to the public through our GIS department.
Those are very valuable. I used them a lot today in the work that I do.
Yeah, thank you. We thought so too. told Mike it'd be good if we could make this a priority to try to do some each year. I know we can't do all of them every year because, there's so many sinkholes in Rutherford County, you couldn't. So we just wanted to pick some areas of the county that we didn't have a lot of information on, out in the rural, more spread out, I guess, areas.
Yes.
And try to fill in some of the gaps. I think it'll help us as we move development forward also.
Yeah, definitely for sure target the areas that we're anticipating growth. Before it gets to that point, we want to know what it was beforehand and then have a better plan for whenever these developments come in.
So that's been fun.
Yeah.
And he's actually going to present at the TINSA conference in October on his findings. He's going to do a presentation for that. Very cool.
Where will that be?
It's in Chattanooga, at the Chattanooga. Let's see.
So was there anything else that we needed?
Let's see. There might be. Yeah, you can talk about, let's see, enforcement.
Enforcement? Well, I'll just read off of that.
Here's all. I could just scroll through it. You're
I'll
good.
just do that. So we only had 2 verbal warnings for an illicit discharge. Do we have anyone submit through the form
No,
online? No, so it was all,
we just had a couple turned in this year. And then I don't think any of them were actually illicits. It was stuff people thought that it wasn't, and it wasn't. And then we've had, typically we don't have a ton of construction violations going on. We have a few. Sometimes we have verbal. We have a couple of written notifications to contractors and such. A lot of times typically our biggest issue is people starting work without a permit, I would say, is still our number one issue with people. But those guys, they don't usually get very nice verbal warnings or notifications. They get stop work orders. So that's why you see our stop work order is up at around 7, because you get the call, our inspector goes out, you get a stop work order, and then you have to come in and meet with me. And I'm not so happy when I have to deal with those kind of people. So they know they're in the doghouse. And so then we work really hard to get them into compliance, figure out what they need to do, figure out what they need to be doing, and get in place so that they can move forward. You can talk about this post-construction. Those are yours, the ponds.
yeah, this year we sent out, I believe it was 41 pond violation letters to a range of ownership. Some were private property, with the majority of them being to HOAs. We sent that out maybe about a week ago, so we're working through getting the responses back in. I've already had several reach out to me, just needing more information, and they're willing to do all the work. Most of them are very easy to work with, and a lot of them, with the education that we attach with it, they're like, oh, cool, we didn't know that. So now that they have the education, and we can do better practices moving forward. So we're in the middle of that right now, and I think it's going good.
Yeah. So in the past, you guys have seen pretty low numbers, like 8, 9. Last year was 4. This one says 4. He's talking about what we just sent out, and that'll be next year's report.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
It's okay. It's on his mind because that's what he's been working on. Last year, we only sent out 4, but we had split our inspections into 4 years because the permit said we could. But then this year, we had such an ambitious group of summer assistants and college kids that we had plenty of time for them to go out and do all of our SEMs. So they once again did them all to see where we were. And we've realized that we probably need to bump that back up to every year if we can. We will be back on our yearly schedule of doing ponds. We call those stormwater control measures. For us, most of the time, it's going to be a pond. If you're in the city, a lot of times you may see underground detention. You may see bio ponds, ponds with plants, wet feet plants in it. They have underground vaults that you won't see. The manholes, it's underground, you don't see anything. But a lot of what we have are neighborhoods and subdivisions. So like he said, it's HOAs with ponds. So that's the majority of what we're inspecting now. We are in the process of installing a couple of manufactured treatment devices, proprietary devices, and those are like the boxes in the ground that are like, some of them swirl, so they're called hydrodynamic separators, and the particles fall out. We have a few of those going in. We had some pervious pavers go in this year. So I don't know if you guys noticed, there's a Hindu temple down Highway 231 that was completed and opened this year. They put in pervious pavers. And somebody else? No? No, but we approved some next door for the Church of Christ. So when they do their addition, they're also going to be putting impervious pavers. So they'll be going out and looking at anything from ponds, what we call vaults, so the big boxes in the ground, and pervious pavers, bioponds, or bioretention areas. So it's a retention area that just has media and plants in it. So they'll go out and look at those. They'll have to be looking at plants. If the plants are dead, we'll be sending letters out for that kind of thing also in the future. So that's kind of the wave is going. We're getting a lot more commercial submittals. I guess you guys have all, you probably don't see it, because when you go driving on the road, you think it's just all city, right? You know, we're in the city of Murfreesboro, so a lot of people don't really know where the county lines, what's Laverne, what's Smyrna, because it all blends together. And now all of that's blending into Murfreesboro. So we've got Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, and then kind of county, and then some county. Like, it's kind of remnant. We're really remnanted now. But we're getting a lot of commercial submittals for a lot of areas are getting ready to kind of go crazy. We've got a lot going on out around the Almaville 840 area submittals. We've gotten a lot down 230, well, I-24 and Epps Mill. We've gotten a lot in that area. We've gotten, and then commercial scattered kind of throughout. More like small business kind of people wanting to build their own business on a septic system. So we're starting to get a lot more commercial. And with commercial, that's when we get in churches. We've gotten a lot of churches this year, or temples and stuff like that. So, and with that, we'll end up getting the additional types of control measures, because it's not just ponds. So we're kind of seeing a wave of different things that we're going to be starting to inspect. But we're going to be ready for it.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, and then I'll just touch on the monitoring real quick. We didn't complete any this year. Last year, I think last year was the final year for our sampling for analytical monitoring. We have completed everything as part of our plan. We had our option 2 plan approved through TDEC last year, which we were able to get several of our sites removed from that list. And I think we're just moving on till next year, next permit cycle, and we'll go back through it.
Yep. So at the end of the year, I always have to summarize. And so this is our summary. You know, we're our department as a whole, stormwater, planning, engineering. So I'm really with engineering and stormwater. You know, we struggle to keep up with the volume of work coming in the door. As you guys know, it's a lot. We have hired new people. We're hoping to hire a new stormwater inspector soon. I think that's going to hit the streets pretty quick. We're doing a lot to keep up. We've hired some more engineers to help me on the engineering side. So we're doing our best to try to keep up with the growth of Rutherford County and try to stay on top of things. It's not the easiest, as you guys can imagine. So we spend a lot of time reviewing construction drawings, the submittals that come in for planning commission, plats. We get a lot of different types of plats, re-subdivision of property. We have to look at all that, so it takes up a whole lot of time. But we do our best to make sure that they all comply with our stormwater ordinance, and that, you know, we guys updated last September 1 was officially adopted. That's going pretty good. I haven't really seen a lot of issues with people using the new water quality charts. So that's good news. I was kind of concerned as how that would go, but I really haven't had any issues with it. We're still working on getting our online training piece to work for our municipal good housekeeping. So that's still a work in progress. Our construction inspections, we're still using all the Esri online tools. Our inspectors have tablets. We've gone paperless for a lot of things. So our submittals have gone paperless. We're using a new program, so we all had to learn to use new programs and do everything digital now. So we really don't get any more paper submittals for what we're doing. And we do it all on a computer system that is pretty snazzy, and we really like using it, so it makes things go a lot quicker. And it speeds up our review because everybody can review at the same time. So everybody can get in and be working in it at the same time, and you're not going to have to wait for this department to finish and then that department to finish and then another department to finish so that you can look at it. Everybody's in there at the same time using it. So that's going really good. Let's see. I already told y'all about our inspections, so, and our summer assistants, we're knocking it out of the park this year, so we are always happy when they get there. And Jonathan might have been happy when they left. He was worn out by the end of summer. So let's see. And that's about it. We still, our education outreach is probably our gold star winner for us every year. I feel like Heather does a wonderful job. She took the torch from Miss Bonnie, who's on our committee, but she's not here tonight because she's taking care of the grandbabies. But Heather has knocked it out of the park. She has just taken everything and run with it. And I still think it's part of the gold star of what we do each year. Do y'all have any questions? Go ahead, Mike.
Sheila, you know I have questions. And mainly this is just to get me up to speed, if you'll indulge me for a little bit. Let's talk about the summer intern program. I know that that's something that's been going on for quite some time now, and you both have just given accolades to the ability of those student volunteers. But I'm curious, and I'm trying to look downfield as the population of Rutherford County grows. I guess they're really involved during the summer months. That's my assumption. So what happens the other 9 months when they go back to class and we lose those bodies? Who takes up that slack?
Well, we do the municipal inspections once a year, so we don't continue to do those throughout the year.
Okay.
They do pipe outfall inspections, so they go around and look at all the outfalls that go into the creeks and cross the creeks, so on county roads, county right-of-way. We only have to do those once a year. The visual stream walking, we only do it once a year, so that's not a thing that you can do year-round. You're only supposed to do it at certain times of the year.
Okay.
And then the monitoring that we end up doing, we didn't do any this year, but that also has to be done at a certain time of the year. So really the only thing that is perpetual is dealing with the ponds and the violations.
All right.
And Jonathan is doing that.
So for instance, then those 41 violations that you had this year, that is not necessarily student participation, that falls under your group, Jonathan?
Yeah, so that was from our findings from what we did this year while they were here. They're typically here from like the second week of May to the second week of August. So once they go through all their inspections, then we work together to gather our violation list, what ponds did not meet our expectations or requirements for the county. Then I will go and compile the letters, send those out, and then provide follow-up on those as I start to hear back from people. Or if I don't, I'll go back through and do an additional survey on those ponds to see where was it taken care of, is it still lacking, and then we can proceed further if we need to.
Okay. Let me ask a clarification. Under that paragraph right there that you have on the screen, or you did have on the screen.
You want me to go back up?
Yeah,
Let's see,
yeah.
where were we at?
No, we're right where you were. Under the Stormwater Management Program Evaluation, the big paragraph right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
Is it on the screen?
Somewhere in there, it says something about ponds and stormwater control measures are a 5-year, let's see, where was that?
In the permit, we're only required to do it
Once every 5 years.
once every 5 years.
But you're doing it once a year,
This summer, we did them all. We went back to doing all of them.
and you're able to achieve all that with Jonathan's group plus the volunteer summer interns, right?
Yes.
Well, you are staying on top of it then, aren't you? Okay.
They're, yeah,
So.
they're pretty awesome.
the-
And we train them, like Jonathan goes out with them. We do a full training program on everything they do. The stream walking, they're doing, when we do those, we train them on that. They go out, they do a day in the field. Josh is actually you didn't do it this year, right? So in the past, we used to get with Josh, and we would all go walk the streams, and we would show them, it's called a Maryland Protocol.
Yeah.
And so we would teach them how to do the stream walking. And then Jonathan would go with them for a few days and make sure they knew what they were doing before we turned them loose. Same with the ponds. They go out, they show them exactly what to look for. And it's all in a checklist on the phones, so we have like checklists that they use. And so they have to look at the outfall, they have to look at the berms, they have to look at it, and then they have to give answers to all the different questions. And then they can take up to 5 pictures at each site, so they'll take pictures also.
Okay.
And then when people ask us, well, what was the problem? I have all this is in Survey 123. Jonathan can pull it out live from when they loaded it up that day. If he's sitting at his computer, he can pull it up and see it if he wants to. Or if somebody calls me and Jonathan's out of the office, I can log into my Survey 123 account, which is our GIS. It's all linked through the web. And I can look it up, and they can say, well, I got this from whatever acres, blah, blah, blah. Section 2, I can pull it up, I can read the letter, I can look at the report, and I can say, this is what you did wrong, yada, yada, yada. Did you send the reports out to them also in the letters? No. So if they want a copy of the report, I can literally email them that report right then, even if he's out of the office.
Okay.
So it's all very interactive and easy to find and easy to get to people. Because a lot of people want to see their report, and they'll say, hey, what did we not get satisfactory on?
All right. Another related question, still under this particular category. The newer products that you mentioned, underground detention or the proprietary BMPs, we see a lot of them on plans, and we see a lot of them come before the Planning Commission.
Right.
For some of the smaller commercial sites. Do they have to sign, the developer or owner, do they have to sign a promissory note that they will maintain these and inspect these once a year, twice a year, once every 5 years?
Yes, they submit a long-term maintenance agreement. So before they can get a C of O from building codes, they'll email us and say, hey, these guys are looking for their C of O. Are they ready to go? I have a different inspector. He goes out, he's looking at final as-built. We review the as-built. We have an as-built checklist.
Yep.
They have to provide all of that information. So that makes sure that we know it was placed where it's supposed to be placed. So those type of grates will also be in the as-built information once we start getting proprietary devices. And then they fill out a long-term maintenance agreement, and along with that agreement is a plan. Now, the agreement and the plan both have to get recorded at the Register of Deeds office. And then that ties it to that parcel. So it's a legal binding document that says they are going to do the maintenance, and it also allows us to go on their site. It's a legal binding document.
But I'm guessing most of those people have no idea that they have something like that underground, and will have to be reminded that they have to maintain these. So does Jonathan's group drive by and will do a random inspection, pull the lid and measure depth of sediment?
We'll
like
do
on a-
them each
like
year
on a
with the
BMP?
pond inspections. Each year, that'll happen in the summer.
One time a year, they'll go out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think we only have one installed right now, and I think it was Farm Credit off of Old Woodbury, John Bragg.
Okay.
I was thinking Old Woodbury, but John Bragg. And we have one that's been installed.
Okay.
And I think they just got their, I don't even know if they've got their CO yet or not, but it's close if it hasn't, or it's getting there. So we only have one. That's what I'm saying. I can see like it's kind of turning from just ponds to being more proprietary devices and systems.
So you have your group has the power to give them a notice of violation if they say, you can put a lien on the property? What if they just do nothing? What repercussion, I guess, does the county have
Right.
to enforce that to be clean? Do you send a vac truck out and clean it and send them a bill? You may have not got to that point yet.
We have not got to that point yet.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I
But
hope we don't.
that time will
but
come.
Maybe eventually. We have an enforcement response plan that we have to follow.
Okay.
So we'll end up, like, kind of the letters we send right now are written warnings. So if they were to avoid the written warning and tell us they want to do that, we would send them an official violation. So it does say violation on it, but it's really just an official letter, written warning. Then they will get like an official violation letter, and I will give them so many days to respond to my letter, or they will be called to a show cause hearing.
Yeah.
So that's, basically, I deal with basically all the sites very similar. So like I had somebody that accidentally dumped trash into a stream, and they didn't really know that it started washing out and was happening. And this man calls me, he gets our letter, and I've given him 10 days to respond to me. We get 10 days? 15 days. 10 days to respond to me, but I have to follow my enforcement response policy plan. So we're following the plan, we're doing the letters like how Nick has shown us how to, he's our attorney. We follow that, we send it. The guy calls me, he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was a thing. I just want you to know, he called him the EPA, but I think it was TDEC. He's like, TDEC's already been out here, I've already cleaned it up, I didn't even know that was happening. We used to burn trash there 40 years ago. And so we do the same thing, and he had so many days to get pictures and information back to me, showing me that he had remediated. So it's all, everybody has to follow an enforcement plan. So at that point, we would start following the plan. So then I would give them so many days to contact me back and give me a remediation plan. How are we going to fix this? And if you refuse that, then I'm going to call you to a show cause hearing. And if that doesn't happen, we have an appeals process, and we have
Got an environmental attorney.
well, yeah, you can, there's one more step before you go to court with them.
Yeah.
And it's the same one that the building codes uses, the Board
Okay.
of Zoning Appeals?
Yeah,
Is it
BZA. BZA.
Is that the
Okay.
one Tanya uses?
Eh,
Whatever, it's in our plan, but,
Okay.
and it specifically states in our ordinance what we have to do. So, but we haven't really had to do that to anybody yet.
Okay, good. Thank you.
But so far, the people, I mean, I told him, I said, you'll be surprised. Your phone will ring off the hook, and they'll be like, what can I do to get this fixed? Now, I know, I don't want to throw Josh under the bus, but he'd call me the other day. He's like, well, I had some HOAs respond to me, and they said, you know, it's going to take me some time. I mean, I got to get money together. I've
Yeah.
got to meet with my board. So HOAs, a lot of them meet once a year, right? And so we talked about it, and I was like, well, honestly, reasonably, once you kind of have followed the process and they've responded to you with their remediation plan, I would be happy to give them time to do that as part of their plan. So if their plan says, we meet in 6 months with our board, we're going to get money together at that point, and then we're going to fix it within the next couple of months after that or something, as long as I get a remediation plan from them and I'm getting responses back to them, I'm not going to consider it a no response. So we actually just talked about this week, probably? Yeah, we talked about this week.
But an open pond falls under that same long-term maintenance agreement
Correct.
before they get their occupancy permit. Okay.
So I know it's a lot. We've got a lot going on. I know we try to I know y'all don't want to hear every little thing we do, but we are so busy, we can't even see straight most days. So it's a lot. I know Jennifer, she does this for the city of Gallatin, so she knows what we're going through. Josh does the same thing for the city of Murfreesboro. So he's your stormwater manager. And Jennifer, I'm not sure what your position is. Are you stormwater manager also? Stormwater utility manager. Yeah. So they do this type of stuff also. We're all in the same boat.
I would like to mention something to you. Various industries have been very innovative in coming up with ways for stormwater management and treatment for quality. And sometimes ideas of the way things should be, the way they've always been, parking lots are black with white stripes. You mentioned earlier permeable pavers, and I would say the majority of people, probably 95% of people, don't understand what those permeable pavers are and what's down under them and with the treatment that's going on and the water quantity that's being addressed. And I recently saw permeable paver parking lot sealed with black asphalt sealer and striped with white stripes. And I thought, the owner doesn't know they just cost themselves tens of thousands of dollars. And, you know, people have in their mind, well, a parking lot is black with white stripes.
Right.
And they probably, it may have been a manager that signed the papers, and maybe a different manager has taken over. And what do you do about stuff like that? I mean, you're not responsible to train every person that comes in charge of a facility.
Right.
You're not responsible to train them, but they need to be.
Yeah.
They need to understand what they have on their site and how to address water quality and quantity.
I think Metro Nashville has a lot of issues because they've been having these low-impact development for years on their sites. And if you talk to the guy that's over their post-construction team, it is one headache after another. I mean, they'll put hot tubs on top of their infiltration devices. It's supposed to have water go through it. They'll put a patio, a hot tub. They'll cover everything up. They put up fences, and to where the people can't even get to them to inspect them. I mean, it's some rough stuff is happening. So it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Well, you can rest well tonight knowing that facility that I mentioned is not under the jurisdiction of Rutherford County. It's less than 2 miles from here.
Uh-oh. Josh is like, oh, shucks.
I was going to say, I mean, and I don't know, which stormwater controls manual do you use, or do you have one?
We don't have one, so we adopted Metro Nashville's volumes, I think 4 and 5, and then when people call me and ask me about the proprietary devices that I'm going to use, I'm actually using yours for the city of Murfreesboro because I think Robert Haley worked with W.K. Dixon to do a fantastic job on your SCM proprietary device sections. It is so nice, and it's got all the links straight to it, so it takes you straight to all the reports. So it's not simple. Y'all think, well, you can just put whatever in. Well, no. We have to say, well, did it go through a testing facility, these proprietary devices? Did the facility get approval? And there's 2 different approvals that the city of Murfreesboro and I'm using. I also know that Laverne and Smyrna, I know Smyrna is also using the city of Murfreesboro's manual. I think Smyrna is also. So as stormwater managers, we all meet once a quarter, and all of us in Rutherford County, and we'd like to be on the same page. Like, that would be the ultimate goal, is when an engineer submits to us, you're submitting me the same thing that you're submitting to the city as you're submitting to Smyrna and Laverne. TDEC got us on the same page with water quality, so now we all have to do the same chart. Now, we're looking at, can we get on the same chart when it comes to proprietary devices and things such as that, because what Metro Nashville accepts, I don't necessarily agree with everything that they do, okay? So they don't give any treatment for underground detention, and which means you have to have multiple proprietary devices to get your 80% TSS removal, and I don't necessarily agree with that. So I don't use Metro Nashville's to a T, and then the city did such a wonderful job with theirs, so I went and researched that, looked through all that, and I really like what they've done. And I will allow Washington Tape, and I will allow NJ Depth certifications. Those are 2 certification programs. Nashville does not allow Washington Tape. They only use NJ Depth certification. So Nashville's super, super strict. And I feel like we just kind of have to come to a conclusion of what do we think is fair? What is going to function and what is right? And so the TDEC permit, by rule, so they had to go to all these rules, and they become like official, how would you say it, with the state gas board. So it's a rule with the gas board for the state of Tennessee, and in these question and answer sessions, when we did our the permit writings that TDEC did, in there it says that they consider Washington Tape and NJ Depth, this is a New Jersey Depth certification, as acceptable standards that we can use. So I use what TDEC is saying instead of going by what somebody else is saying. I'm using what TDEC has allowed. So I mean, there's a lot to it to try to even figure out what you're going to allow. And when those devices drop off, they test them, and sometimes they don't retest them, so then they're no longer on the list, and people are still submitting them to us, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't take these. These are no longer certified. They're no longer on the approved list. So I just think the city of Murfreesboro did a wonderful job with that, and I really appreciate it.
I would say on the permeable pavers, I mean, now if, you know, a ribbon curb's required, so you have a clear demarcation between the regular surface and the paver area, you know, in between asphalt. So I think where you saw that before is where you had the porous concrete and it was hard to distinguish. So I think that would be typical now to prevent that sort of thing from happening. But I was going to say, like you all mentioned, a big part of it is just education.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, letting folks know that they have these features.
Yeah, and we are required to do SCM training. So I think Jonathan can take a note of this. I think that would be a great idea that I need to come up with some little additional information specific to those couple of sites we do have so that we can stay on top of it and send them a letter next year. Even though if it's still in good shape, we send them a letter and just, hey, we just want to make sure you know that you have installed X, Y, and Z, and make sure you stay on top of it. I think if we can get ahead of it, instead of chasing the back end of it, it's going to be a lot better. So I think that would be the best thing for us to do right now.
I would like to commend the county, and I haven't seen the city of Murfreesboro's proprietary list, but if you're different from Nashville's, I commend you.
We are.
Because Nashville forever has just hit the easy button and followed the NJCAT list, and they have got themselves in a world of hurt the last 4 or 5 months with the new protocol and everybody dropping off the list, and there's 1 or 2 available.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, and everybody's scrambling to try and find one, and it's not fun.
No, it's not. And I'm not sure that it's really fair when, by rule, TDEC referenced those other two, reference 2, not 1. And so I'm like, well, if it's good enough for TDEC, then I think it should be good enough for us. And yeah. Now, I mean, some of them are going to drop off in September. But I think those were items that were dropping off NJ Dep's list. But we're still going to be looking at Washington Tape. So there's still a lot on their list that will be approved for like the 50% units and stuff.
And a lot of folks don't realize too that Washington, and as well as that whole West Coast, are the most heavily regulated stormwater groups in the U.S. And if it's okay for them, it ought to be okay for us.
Yeah. I had somebody explain it to me, like, this is not my forte by any measure, but we've been doing a lot of research on it because we're kind of forced to. You're forced to get out of your comfort zone and we've been doing a lot of training on them. I actually had the guy from Nashville to help us out and do a training for statewide education on how to review them when they come to you. It wasn't about who you're going to use, what you're allowing. It's about how do you review that when it gets to you. So we're really trying hard to catch up and be ready for all these new submittals that are coming in with the new wave we're seeing. And the way it was explained to me was kind of like the testing that previously was done by New Jersey was like the size of like maybe, would you say, the end of a paper clip. And now it's like micro-sized, even smaller. And so a lot of the machines, it doesn't really mean they don't work. It just means it can't fall out something smaller than a grain of sand, smaller than a grain of salt. And so this is the kind of stuff we have to like understand, and you're like, man, this is so difficult. And so it's just a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of trying to figure out what that means. Here, we don't have a lot of that. We have clay. So our particles are completely different, and then clay will bond, right? So you have a bigger particle size. So even with how strict they are, what is actually coming through ours is a much larger particle size. And there's nobody testing these units in the South with our kind of dirt.
Which is the most common sense thing to do.
Anyway, it's a whole process. You got to stay on it. And I do. Thank you for the input. I do love the idea. I really think that's what, we'll put that on our list. We'll report back next year about sending out some additional education letters and just letting people know what they have. Because we do that with the ponds. We send an educational thing to all of them, like he was saying, and it says, here's what we expect you to do. We expect you to maintain it, clean it out, free of trees, yada, yada, yada. Berms clean, outlet structures clean, no erosion, and these are the things we're looking for. I don't have anything prepared for these other things, so I'll work on that. We'll get that done. That'll be easy. It'll be helpful. So thank you, guys. That's awesome. Is there anything else?
Wow.
I know, y'all are like, oh my gosh, these people are crazy. We eat, breathe, and sleep this.
So are we ready to move on now to new business?
Yeah.
Is there any new business to discuss? There appears to be no new business.
Yay.
So we are ready to adjourn, unless there's another.
Madam Chairman, I do have one more question.
Okay.
Since we're a little ahead of schedule. Sheila, at the steering committee the other night, a grant possibility came up that was voted on, which I don't think steering committee was the right place for this, and I think the application will wind up being rejected anyway. But this is the question I have for you. There are signs posted and have been for 4 or 5 years below Walter Hill Dam about, hey, don't eat the fish, the water is bad. They're seeking a grant, which again I think is the wrong application, to perhaps study the water below Walter Hill to see what may be causing the contaminants.
Who is seeking the grant? May I ask that? Who is seeking this grant?
The county,
Oh.
the steering committee is thinking about applying for a grant.
Oh, okay.
$0 on our part. It would be funded by the state.
Okay.
But again, this is more of a brownfield kind of a grant, and it makes no sense for a brownfield grant to look at a river quality. So I think they're grasping at a straw. But what made me think is, do we have a program in place, or do we search out different grant opportunities to do a water quality, a stream water quality analysis, particularly if we have signs posted that say, hey, don't eat the fish, this is bad? And again, this is also, since I'm on the Public Works Committee, this also may have a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is right next to the landfill, and is there contamination possibilities? So that's what they're trying to get to the bottom of. So my real question is there grants that you know of, or would your department, would the Stormwater Department be the one most likely to research a storm or a water quality investigation for an example like that of waters of the state, waters of the county, below Walter Hill Dam, where there are signs posted by TDEC and the state that says, this is polluted water, don't eat the fish.
Right.
We want to find out what the pollutant is and if it can be rectified, reclaimed, or something like that.
Oh, okay. I was thinking you were talking about the mercury.
We don't know what it is. We're trying to, we would like to know what it is and why there's a don't eat the fish sign out there. And where,
Because there's signs up from that says mercury, right? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
the
the
signs
state
that are
has
posted don't
posted.
really say. It says don't eat the bass. And according to one of the commissioners out there, said that sign's been there for 4 or 5 years.
Oh, well, on the online system, if you see what the water quality is for that, what's coming up bad is mercury. So they've got a mercury, how do I say it? Attainment status is for mercury in that section of the river.
So what would be
So that's probably,
what would be the cause of the mercury outbreak?
I don't know. I'm sure TDEC has done plenty of sampling.
Okay.
I just don't know or haven't received any of that information. Josh, are you part of this too? Because I know the city owns the property, and I think that's in the city of Murfreesboro's jurisdiction. Am I wrong? Yeah, I don't know of any, I don't necessarily go after grants, I don't really have time for that. I know that sounds kind of bad, but we don't have time. What we look at from stormwater is mostly siltation,
Yeah.
habitat loss. I mean, we also do sampling for E. coli. Am I getting that right? Am I missing anything? So it's sediment, habitat loss, which is from like the erosion. When you see the habitat loss, the water comes through and the fish don't have any of the habitats along the side of the streams anymore because it's all messed up.
Right.
And that's silt, so that all kind of goes with silt. And then we also have to do stuff for E. coli, which typically that's septic, sewer, those kind of things.
Those are permit requirements
Yeah.
based on if your stream's listed for either E. coli or siltation, then you have to have the biology tested if it is. But that's only pollutant that the permit asks for, right?
Right, that's the only thing we're required per our permit with TDEC to look at, so that's the only thing we look at.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It-
So
it does make
we
sense.
we don't sample for anything else. We don't go out and do grab samples for anything else. Typically, if you're looking at industrial sites, they have a permit directly with the state. So even if it's a landfill or a county-owned landfill or a quarry or anything under the multi-sector general permit, they have a direct permit with the state of Tennessee, and they have regulations. They have to meet with them. And they do grab samples. They do all kinds of sampling.
Sheila,
Yes, ma'am?
I heard landfill. So is it right directly on 231
Yeah.
of the
off-
signs?
off of-
I haven't seen any signs.
Off of Jefferson Pike. It's when you go down into the trail head, right below the Walter Hill Dam,
Mercury.
where the Stones River meanders there. There's signs posted about do
Yeah.
not eat the fish.
Because I've seen people out there fishing this summer and everything. I live out there.
Yeah.
So
Well, next time you drive by there, go down and take a picture of the sign.
I'm going to.
And our concern is, hey, is this something that we can fix, or who's responsible? And if there's a grant out there available to use state money.
It would be
that's-
nice.
That's what we were trying to do. And I guess the follow-up question is, I know we have a grant writer on county staff. Do you stay in touch with that person to see if there's anything out there that your group can take advantage of?
At this point, I do not.
Okay. I just want to put that on your radar.
Okay, yeah. Oh, no, you're fine.
Any more comments or points of discussion?
Madam Chairman, I move we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. I guess we can vote by standing up and leaving. Okay. See you all next year.
Thank you.